So legacy listeners of the show, long-time listeners, they'll remember a classic. One of my all-time favourite bits on the show was Jermaine Genius being upset that he was asked for his opinion on something because he clearly hadn't researched it and he thought that was offensive to himself. He's back in the news again. He's made a few how do you describe it? He had an odd day on Sunday where life comes at you fast. 1 minute you're the face of a public campaign saying, hey, we need to back off the refs. They're just doing their job. They're doing their best.
Yeah.
And then a few hours later, you're on X, and he's saying, the shithouse got it wrong. They're all ruining our game.
Yeah, he really messed up, I would say.
He fucked it.
But as much as you can when referees are the targets, do you know what I mean? Because everyone kind of agrees.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like, if you were to take a knee before the game and then everyone found out you're racist. It's kind of like, well, you're a liar. The worst thing about your racism is that you're lying about not being racist, Like, we all hate referees, but at least we're honest about Jermaine. I mean, Jermaine just like signed the dotted line. He's like, hey, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. I'll say whatever. I don't believe it, but yeah, I think we should back off referees. Unless, of course, it's my team.
Yeah, then
all bets are off.
Yeah.
I'm
going to... Also, who tweets that anyone is a shithouse? Like, in a public way? Like a player tweeting out that a referee or a player is a shithouse is insane.
It's funny because when I read the tweet first, I just pictured the ref holding the ball up in the corner.
Yeah.
He's ruining the game.
That's not what it's about anymore. We're past that.
Stop taking forever for that throw, ref.
Triangles, ref.
Honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many, many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Melodrama upon melodrama.
This is a totally
Shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
He was balls off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all the time.
No problem.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Carl and Will. NLD. Will, ever heard of it?
Not until recently.
It's sweeping the nation.
Yeah.
Now, everyone's too busy these days to call it the North London Derby. Too many words, too many syllables, easy to trip up.
Here's my theory. We're all more online than ever.
Yeah.
When would you have read the words North London Derby before? You would have just seen it on TV.
I would have heard it.
You would have
I would have seen it.
Yeah.
And I would have been hearing someone read it as I saw it.
Yeah, no one's
typically
on the radio saying NLD, of course not.
Yeah, and if you're one of these psychotic Arsenal or Tottenham fans who are tweeting 50 tweets a day in the run-up to the NLD, you actually are quite busy. You got a lot of thoughts to send out there. Just NLD. Anybody who follows me know what I'm talking about because that's just all I'm talking about.
Well, that's probably the hashtag as well. You want to get it, you want to be top of the hashtag.
Yeah, because the Arsetot sometimes is like, it's hard to read sometimes depending on the teams. And you're like, I don't know what this is. Brentford, West Ham. Bro, what the hell is this? Oh, sorry. Like, I follow football. You know what I mean? So it could be, well, that's a good instinct you have there. We're too online.
Yeah. Another sign of it.
Another sign that society is imploding upon itself. We're losing our words now.
Take a break from your phones, everyone. Start saying that North London Derby again.
In my day, we used to call it the North London Derby. Now they just say the letters. Well, it's probably the most 2-2 game there is out there.
Always has been.
Arsenal typically win at home, and Harry Kane typically scores at White Hart Lane. Now, that's not a feeling. It is backed up by stats. But also, it's not called White Hart Lane anymore, is it? And also, Harry Kane is in Munich. So, a lot of things change, Will. It used to be called the London Derby, But yeah, this did feel like a 2-2, mainly because two bad defenses.
Yes.
And two good attacks.
Rip-roaring attacks. Yeah.
And you might say, Arsenal's not bad defense, but I think it's not great. Like, I'm not surprised that in terms of how much better Tottenham's defense is than Arsenal's attack is kind of what I mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Tottenham's defense is bad.
Yes, it is.
I said I think 2 weeks ago or last week, Romero is liability. I was right about that.
He sure proved it this week. He had a shocker.
I mean, I'm sure you saw, Will, on your timeline, on your For You page, the comparisons being quickly people quickly digging through their screenshots of Romero.
What about this one? How come this one? No.
The handball was quite similar. The screenshots look very similar.
They were. The position in the box is different, though. One of them is going directly into the goal. The other one is just kind of going into the area, into the mixer.
Well, I put to you, Will, what is the rule? If that is not the hardest question in the world.
I've got no idea. Does
anyone know what the rule is?
When it happened, in my brain, I thought, that's the clearest one I've seen of this rule. And then Gary Neville was like, this is a shocking rule. And then in the group chat, people were like, oh, it's a joke. What? What is going on? No one agrees anymore.
You wouldn't mind the group chat. You know,
no,
everyone's biased in the group chat. But it's when the broadcasters were like, wrong. It is hard to know. We saw it there in the Champions League. Eriksson, he gave away a penalty from, I think it was Meccano, headed it at his arm.
Yeah.
Natural position, unnatural position. Is that a rule? Was that ever a rule?
Yeah,
or is that just a thing people said? You know, I know people used to say it a lot, but natural position, I don't know. I had actually watched that Champions League game. I don't know who was on commentary for Virgin. I think it was Richard Dunn in the, not commentary, but in the analysis.
Yeah.
And he reckoned that if Meccano had purposely headed onto his arm. Because, like, if that was me, and that ball's coming, you try to loop it back in the box. Why is he heading it down at Eriksson? Like, where's that ball going to go?
Yeah.
I was like, that's amazing. If he, in midair, said, I have an idea.
There's a handball on here.
Watch this.
Never mind the years of having these instincts built into me. I have a new instinct now.
That's called football IQ. But anyways, back to the NLD. Yeah, I don't know if it was a penalty or not. I really don't.
No, it looked like it because his hand was out far, and that's usually all it takes. Everything else is irrelevant in this rule. If you take the rule for what it is, then the ball hit his arm, therefore handball.
I think that's just the way to do it. I think just line in the sand, like the offside. It's like, okay, like a bit of his hip was offside, so therefore he can technically score with his hip.
Yeah.
Therefore he's offside. It's like, well, that's not what the rule is for. It's like, we know that, but we have to draw a line.
We fucked it.
This is where we're at now. You know, just got to say anything past this point is this. So if you say handball, people will possibly jump in the air and mid-jump head it onto your arm. That's the game now, okay? So if you're going to run out and try to tackle the ball, make sure your hands are out of the way, because if it hits your arm, then it's going to be, a penalty. I think most times people will try and kick the ball in the goal before they aim for your hand, and they'll try to loop the ball back in rather than heading it down. There's going to be the odd time, but
but look, we'll take that. I think
at this point, I'd rather just like, at least we know what it is now.
Yeah,
because week to week, then it's like,
they should all be handballs.
Yeah, because it's, I always say the balancing out over the course of a season.
Yeah.
Not if it changes every week.
Exactly, yeah, it rarely does. I do know United have had 4 very unlucky calls against them this year and 1 lucky call for them. So there's a lot of balancing out still to come, and that's just one of the teams. I'm sure all of the other teams are the exact same.
The game itself, it was entertaining, but I think these derby games, it's not always the best quality.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say. Like the goals. So Romero got an own goal and a penalty given away by Romero.
Yes.
And then the Tottenham goals where Jorginho got turned over and Saka got turned over, and Saka let the man in very easily.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't like, Man City will beat a team by like cutting them apart and like, well, that's no one's fault. That's just Haaland's just too big and too strong, too fast. There's nothing you can do there. Or like that's just a ball from Kevin De Bruyne that you can't defend that. That's why he's the best. Yeah. There was none of that going on really here.
No, it's always a good sign that the game, no one has control of the game when you score immediately after the other team has, because they can't believe they've scored still. They're still in that mindset.
Not championship pedigree, you might say. They're like, I can't believe we scored a goal.
I am buzzing, lads. Oh, here they come.
Wait, what are they doing? Would you say that Jorginho has justified Declan Rice's price tag with that turnover?
Yeah, I think so.
He went off injured at half time, and Jorginho, who I guess he was surplus to requirements at Chelsea. They were trying to get money back for players. He was just part of the master plan at Chelsea. He just like a cog in the wheel of Bowley's master plan. But yeah, he hasn't played a lot this year, and he came into a pretty high pressure situation and got that ball turned over. And I think people are thinking, if that was Rice, that would never happen, you know?
Yeah.
He's
just part of the game now, though, I think. Because everyone presses high now.
Yeah.
Like, these things do happen. Everyone presses high, and everyone also plays it out from the back. So
Yes.
it's going to happen now and again.
I think it's Rice is going to become this like Carrick type figure that everyone says, what does he actually do?
Yeah.
And then Arsenal
until he's
fans
retired.
and then Arsenal fans like, you don't like, it's pearls before swine. You don't deserve a player like Declan Rice. He's so good off the ball, you know. And then it's when you're missing him, you kind of see that's how good he is. But I think it's because he's English. He'll always be on this like, we need you to score goals like Steven Gerrard, and then also dictate the play like Paul Scholes, and then also.
And also, what the fuck was the World Cup about?
Yeah, and like, you know, Mbappe's better, so what are you doing? You know, it's always going to be that thing. But yeah, for players like that, it's when they're not playing, that's when they really come into their own.
Yeah. The Maguire effect a few years ago.
But yeah, I think the two reactions from the set of fans is a lot different.
Yes.
It's a point drop, 2 points dropped for Arsenal.
And
it's
a sign that we're not at it like last year, lads.
Yeah, exactly. Because they've drawn 2 games, or lost a game, or drawn a game the first couple of weeks. They're unbeaten still, are they? Technically,
not too sure. Yeah, they are.
They are unbeaten, but they've dropped 4 points.
Yes.
City have dropped 0 points.
Yes.
So it's like that's 4 unattainable points. You know,
they're running away with it.
They are starting to run away with it. This is they're in the process of running away with this. 4 points to start, you know, 6 more to go probably by the end of the season.
Yeah.
That's the feeling for Arsenal fans, because it's like, we were second, can we push on? And then every point drops, like, no.
Yeah, no.
We were right to not believe.
Last year was the one.
Yeah, no, that was the chance, and we lost this, you know. Sometimes you don't get a second chance. Sometimes you get once. Look at Liverpool, they'll never be back. But, I mean, look at Liverpool, they are back, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for Arsenal, it's that kind of like very fatalistic view on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Whereas for Tottenham, it's just this a glorious wave they're riding, and
they cannot believe they're everything, because it's the ultimate combo: attacking football, sound manager. That's when you have both of them, it's a beautiful game.
Oh yeah, when you have other people being like, I'm sickened, I'm sick to my stomach at how much I like an opposing team's manager.
Yeah.
Like, you've got the psychopaths on board now, you know?
Yeah,
people who are sickened by that need help, and they like your manager, you know?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I think for Tottenham fans, when they're looking at that, they're like, we went down 1-0, and they didn't, okay, right, this could be a bloodbath, park the bus. They continued to pass the ball at the back. I mean, probably one of the biggest moments in the game was Jesus turning over Maddison, and then, you know, going for power rather than placement. Like, that does that. Maddison's like, great, I'm actually not as good as I thought I was, you know?
Cut it off.
I thought it was the main man here, you know? I thought this was Sunday lunch, but no, it's not. I'm in the Emirates and I'm at my depth. Instead, he goes on to get 2 assists and plays a really good game.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, it's kind of finally balanced, but I think that for Tottenham fans, look at that thinking, we still played the way we wanted to play. Like, he's thinking long term. He's not thinking, well, if I get these losers to fourth, maybe I get a better job than this. Maybe I get my United after this, you know? So I think that's why they were so enthused, you know?
I did see a headline that caught my eye. It said, Ange Postecoglu catches the eye with incredible 6-word reply to handball incident.
I did see that, but I did not click on it. What was it?
I was hoping you would see it and not see it. What do you think Ange Postecoglu's 6 words were?
Mate was in there.
Correct.
It's like countdown.
1 down, 5 to go.
Not countdown. What's that one? You know, the prize thing, the words, the phrase.
Like Family Feud or one of them.
You know,
with the wheel.
Infamously on South Park. Like
Yeah.
that show. Mate was in there.
You're on the board.
Okay, so he said 6 words in response to a penalty.
To the handball.
To the handball. I just think it's bollocks, mate.
No. You were close though. It is what it is, mate.
Oh, very good.
But what I mean by bringing that up is he is now the manager where people are like, look what he's saying. God, he's so likable.
Yeah, I mean it's early on in the season. That's going to wear thin on people's.
Yes. Oh,
minds.
once Spurs beat your team a few times, they're going to be like, "Fuck this guy." Man.
Yeah, well, that's it. Judging by it, they're going to win most of their games this year, which means they'll beat most of the teams, which then will turn most people against them.
Yeah, and then he's like real likable and charming. People will be like, "There's something about him I don't like."
Yeah, the xenophobia will rear its head like, "Oh, mate this, mate that. Why don't you put a ship on a Barbie, you prick?"
Think of me, the Crystal Palace fan.
Yeah, who they beat 4-0, at home, and then 3-1 in their place. Like this guy's fucking so cocky, so full of himself, thinks he's so great.
Maddison's miming a Carvery dinner for a celebration. I hate them.
Yeah. Well, that was another. There's a lot of this. Maybe we're too close to the game these days, Will. But I mean,
I don't think so. I think this is what the game has become. I think we said at the start of the season, the football is the least important part now. It's the circus around the football that people actually care about.
Like, you won't believe this. And guess what he said? The perfect response to this. It's just like normal interviews after the game. And like, it's, when, I don't know if you remember when John Terry had to go with Robbie Savage in the post-match thing. He was just like, I just think people who, never play this level don't know what they're talking about. And I think they should shut up. And I'm talking about Robbie Savage. And everyone like bursts out laughing because everyone hates Robbie Savage.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, fine. But it's not that funny. It's just like in that scenario where it's usually so watered down and so like TV trained, being like, it was great to get 3 points and we'll look forward to next game.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the handball? Yeah, no, look, it's one of those things. It's, we try and be the best we can on the day and we move on. So when someone says something that's like actually off script, it's like, write that down. Somebody get a pen and paper.
This guy is a breath of fresh air.
Yes, there needs to be a meter of how fresh the breath is around the fucking stadium when Maddison or Ange Postecoglu talks. But like, he was talking about the celebration. Saka, for some reason, the dart celebration.
Which also, why are you doing that?
I was thinking, is that like an England thing? Because they're obviously back from the internationals, and they're probably like in the thing, if I score against you and do your celebration or whatever. I was thinking, because other than that, it's like, do they have beef? I mean, like,
there's no way.
I was thinking that must be a friendly thing. But then, Maddison was asked about it. Again, like, what do you want me to say about that? Other than, he's a little fucking rat, is what he is.
I hated that. It really annoyed me.
Like, I don't know who the fuck he thinks he is. A couple of goals for Arsenal. I mean, we'll see where his career is, man. And,
that's what the NBA is like. They need more of that in a year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but he said he must have been doing that when I turned him over the goal, and it was like that was also headline worthy.
Yeah.
Because,
it's just so out of the ordinary to be like, he was shit.
Well, that's because now the next time he plays against Arsenal, it'll be, don't give him anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it's you could be having a bad week personally, and now you have to go out and play against Arsenal or wherever it is, or against an opposing team, and they're like trying to put you off your game, and they know this thing about you that you said, like, oh my God, why did I fucking say that?
You're in your dressing room and you can hear it playing in the home dressing room. Really,
yeah. Like, you don't want to give them. You want to be the most boring person in the world.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think we make fun of Kevin De Bruyne for it sometimes, but like, I can't think of one thing about his personal life.
Exactly, he knows what he's at.
There's no one getting in his head. You have to be like an FBI agent to know what's going on in his personal life.
Yeah.
But it's honours evens, as they call it, at the Emirates, and they're both. I think they're 5th and 6th now. I think
something like that. Yeah.
Miles behind City and Liverpool.
Yeah, it's over already.
It's over. Brighton, who I obnoxiously said, well, they look like they're going to finish there. They're not going to finish there. They got another good win. They're up to 4th, I think, or 3rd.
It's around. It's very muddled up there, but they are doing well.
Yeah, because last week I was like, it's all kind of, the dust has settled a bit. We can see what's happening. And now I'm like, well, actually, I don't know anymore.
Never mind.
Don't forget, folks, City's terrible run of fixtures is coming right up.
Yeah.
One game against Wolves at home, and then it's hell. Welcome to hell. They won again against West Ham.
Nottingham Forest.
2-0 this time.
It was close though, closer than City would usually like.
It was pretty close, yeah. But Have you noticed that Haaland is scoring not the same rate last year because he scored a lot of hat tricks at the start, you know?
Yeah.
But it's funny how when you set the level of like, well, yeah, of course he scores goals. Like, I think he's got 8 goals from that.
Something like that. Yeah.
8 goals in 6 games. I think that's right.
Yeah.
And no one's even saying anything.
No, it's boring now.
Like, that's just like, well, of course, that's what you did last year. Dude, like, you know, entertain me with something new. Like, you know, do more than that. That must be what it was like for Messi and Ronaldo every year in La Liga when they would just score.
Well, I think that shows how good they were, that every season people were like, oh my God, 50.
They kept going. Well, I guess we weren't seeing it. We were just hearing these numbers.
The rumors.
We're like, that can't be. There's no way. Like, I remember the stat that Messi hadn't scored a single goal in the Liga, which meant there wasn't a game where he scored a single goal in the Liga. I was like, no, that's not true.
All braces?
At least. Sometimes 3 or 4. You know, so like that's just a side point that Haaland is like scoring these goals, and like I guess they're not. I don't know. Maybe Messi scored a lot of tap-ins as well. I'm sure Ronaldo and Messi scored a lot of tap-ins, but I mean, there's been no
Salah's a bit of a victim of that when he breaking records and stuff, and then he would have a season where he only scores 25. People are like, I'd sell him.
Was he 28 now? Yikes. But the thing is, like, Salah will score great goals, and a lot of it is like related to pace. Everyone likes seeing somebody run fast and score a goal. That's always entertaining.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that goal where Haaland scored was like a bullet header from like on the penalty spot.
Boring.
You know, like technically good, but I've seen better. You know.
Come on, wow me.
But yeah, they're top of the league for now. Liverpool. I think we could put in that clip there of Ian Wright saying, "I thought you was dead."
There's an easy post for it. Turning around to see the Liverpool crest.
They're doing it again, Will. They're having one more college try at this.
I mean, I can't see them keeping the pace the whole way through. I can't see it. But I've also every single week, because they do concede first a lot of the times, and every week it's like, here we go. That's that now, and then 3-1, 3-1, 3-1.
Yeah. I mean, they're very good going forward, obviously.
Yeah.
McAllister got an assist this week. Szoboszlai's been quite good as well.
Yeah.
I think they signed on deadline day from Stuttgart. I think he's very capable. You know, I think similar to Rice, and that like you're not going to see highlights from him, but like if he's not there, you might see a big gap in that midfield. So they seem to have. You know, people always like, oh, Klopp with his diamonds in the rough for, you know, $150 jillion. You know what I mean? It's like, but at the same stage, he does know how to build a team as well. Do you know what I mean? He's not buying these players like, well, I guess he's available, which just get McAllister. You know, I think he probably saw how he could work, which has helped as to how well they're doing. Salah's in good form. He's scoring penalties and stuff like that. But yeah, as you say, I mean, I think it was Bowen who scored first for West Ham. You imagine something that's going to catch up with them as the season goes on.
Yeah, like that's not something that's happening to City ever.
Yeah.
City are cruising to victories, even like the Nottingham Forest game with a red card to Rodri that we forgot to bring up. So like they lost probably their most important player, still won 2-0. And they'll probably win the next game 2-0 without him. Whereas Liverpool, I don't know, it just feels like you've scraped by again every week. Even though they're really good and like winning by 2 or 3 goals, it just feels like, oh, it can't last though.
Yeah, well, I think it's the way they come back. They roar back at teams.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And it's like you feel if a team could survive that like period of them roaring back, like, well, they are still open the back. We might
the team
get a second
hasn't
here.
changed.
You know, they overwhelm teams. If you don't get overwhelmed, then you might go, okay, well, maybe we can start our own attack now again. And that is still Alexander-Arnold, I can see, isn't it? Yeah, it is. That is still old, slow Van Dijk, I could see there on our striker. Okay, right. Well, I might give that a go. You know, so you feel it's not as like clinical as City, where it's almost like surgical. We're like, we're going to break you down. There's not much you can do about it.
Yeah.
You know,
you've no say in this game.
There's 32 minutes left. We'll probably get 2.5 chances and convert at least one of them. You know,
we've done the maths.
Yeah, there's very little you can do here. That's the sense you get with City. Whereas Liverpool is like, we're going to throw everything at you, and we have a lot to throw at you. Yeah, you know, if you can stop Salah, fair play, you deserve the win. You know,
hey, if you stop Salah, good luck trying to stop this maniac Nunes coming off the bench.
Yeah.
We
Also-
don't know what he's going to do.
And that thing you can see out of the corner of your eyes called Luis Diaz, he's also going to score. You know, it's like there's so many people going. But if they could manage to, or if not even that they could manage, but if one of them was to get injured or get suspended, like Rodri there, I forgot you mentioned it there. I forgot to mention Rodri. That's huge for the run, Will, for these tough fixtures coming up.
Yeah, including Arsenal is the first one, I think. The first big one in the run.
That's huge. That's honestly why they beat Man United last year and they have Casemiro.
Yeah, exactly.
You need that bit of luck to finish second.
Yeah, it's huge.
Um,
Funnily enough, another Casemiro-like throttling incident as well.
Look, that's easy to be consistent on. You know?
Yeah.
No, put your
Not
hands to the
allowed.
neck.
I know he went down easy, but you were threatening to kill him by strangulation.
That was pretty embarrassing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that's been the way for years, though. I remember Aguero going down when they went head to head with Fellaini, and Fellaini was like, "No, we both did it," but Aguero was smart enough to go down. That's a classic, like.
Well, if you're Fellaini, you can't go down in that scenario because
Aguero is the physics doesn't make sense.
Aguero would have time to look at the referee, like, look at this guy while you're still going down. There's such, like it takes so long to get down there. Whereas, like, you know, this one was like two lads squaring up, and I always think it's like you're not going to do anything. It's like this is
no one ever throws a punch in football, and when they do, it's remembered for decades.
it'd be an 8-month ban, like,
Yeah,
because like this is all we have.
yeah,
That our sport doesn't do this. Like everything else is bad, but at least there's no fisticuffs.
yeah.
You know, we can say that for the kids. We might be racist and we might throw things on the pitch, but at least the players don't punch each other. You know,
We've got that.
if you take that from us, like, we really are in trouble. Every jersey has a betting company that you can't even use. It's some Chinese betting company, but we do not raise our hands to each other. Okay,
No.
That's where we draw the line.
Yeah, Rodri fell victim to it, the latest player.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's out for a bit. Again,
2 games,
so
3
you
games.
I think it was a straight red, so I assume it's 2 games, is it?
Yeah, if it's violent conduct, usually it's like 3 games, isn't it?
The Casemiro one was 3, because I remember that was a big thing because United couldn't possibly play without him.
He would go on to miss like 7 games from last year, and
Yeah.
just the whole season fell apart, really. In terms of like their title charge, you know, which was on briefly, but yeah, it's huge because I think he's up there, Rodri, with the best player in the world right now. Play the music.
I am the best in the world at what I do.
Riyad Mahrez. You're the best. He's arguably the best player in the world right now.
New music, new segment, best player in the world right now. If you are online too much, like myself and Will are, you will see this all the time.
Is blank the best blank in the world right now?
I've seen a couple of nominations, Will.
Mm-hmm.
Leroy Sané. Is he the best player in the world right now? Have you seen this?
Play the music.
No, we don't play music every single time. But yeah, these are the nominations. You got Rodri, best player in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sané, best player in the world right now. I saw Harry Kane, best player in the world right now. Have you any other nominations? Have you seen anyone else nominated for this online? Was the best blank of the blank?
Is David Raya the best goalkeeper in the world right now?
Oh, have you seen that?
I have seen that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, best player in the world right now, David
That
Raya.
was from. I will say that was from an a Gabrielle profile picture account. So I don't know how real that actually is.
They all are though. Like these are all people who think that their player's team is the best player in the world right now. Coincidentally, because that's the only team they watch.
Exactly. Yeah, and even then, I would say barely.
They're too online to watch during the games, or they're constantly checking the feed.
Did you see the clip of the Arsenal fan pretending to cry during the Champions League music? Did you see that?
Oh, the
He was
guy in
at
the
game.
crowd after 8 years and it feels different blood. That
But
guy.
did you see the first reply to that tweet where someone was like, I was standing behind this lad. He wouldn't take his head out of his fucking phone for the full 90 minutes.
That's it. Like it's all
He's just
fucking
replying
about the
to
engagement.
tweets.
Yeah, of course. Like he's just checking. This is doing numbers, boys.
This is banging on Twitter, man.
One more nomination, Will. Best player in the world right now. Under the video of Jude Bellingham.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good shout. Yao Felix is the best player in the world right now in all the caps. He's going to go goals in the Champions League, don't forget.
There's just so many. It changes by the minute.
Should we discount the Ronaldo ones? Is that even fair?
Cristiano Ronaldo
proves again that he's the best player in the world, currently at almost 39 years of age. 2 left foot goals. He makes world-class defending He's playing the Saudi League. He makes world-class defenders dancing, dribbling, shooting, skilling better than everyone in the world right now. That's literally word for word what it says. Skilling. 41 goals in 62 Champions League games for Kylian Mbappe, who is still just 24 years old. Luis Enrique celebrates Kylian as the best player in the world right now, said in press conference today. That's rubber stamped by Luis Enrique. His own manager will. Why would he say something that wasn't true? What would he have to gain from it? Mo Salah is by far the best player in the world right now.
By far.
21st. This segment is actually getting out of control. This is like the Ballon d'Or list at this point. Oh, come on. Best player in the world right now under the picture of Leandro Trossard. Come on. Julian Alvarez might just be the best striker in the world right now.
You fucking start.
He plays in the same team as Hal. I think that's everyone who's actually has a claim to it, Will. I think we can leave them all in as a Ballon d'Or shortlist. This quarter, the first quarter.
They are the best players in the world right now, confirmed.
They're your best players in the world right now. I think, Will, I'm going to give the award. I'm going to give the award the best player in the world right now to Rodri. I want to give it to Rodri. You know,
it's a good shout.
You know why, Will?
Why is that?
Because I've seen him the most. Play the music.
I am the best in the world at what I do.
Riyad Mahrez. You're the best. He's arguably the best player in the world right now.
Good segment. I can't wait to get the music for that. I'm going to do that tonight.
Go away from me, Sarah.
This is my time with Will.
Newcastle, I suppose.
Newcastle, yeah. Newcastle is kind of, I think their fans probably feel the same way I do about the summer we just had.
Mm-hmm.
That the heat wave at the start and the heat wave at the end, if we could have spread that out throughout the summer and had like a temperate, nice summer full of beer gardens and walks and stuff, that would be much better than a blazing heat wave at the start, then loads of rain and just being inside and like, wait, what was this, July? And then a bit of heat wave at the end, like, whoa, what's this? You know, surprise heat wave. And then I'm in work and it's, you know, I've already taken my holidays, you know?
Yeah.
For Newcastle, they had a great start. 4-1 against Aston Villa. I thought these boys were going to do the whole thing.
Yep.
They've jumped up to league contenders. And then they had a tough run against Liverpool, City, and I think the other team they lost to, Will. I forget who it was. But they had, and then after that they had AC Milan. It was like, oh my God, Champions League now.
Yeah.
0-0. They're finished, you know?
And not just like a valiantly fought 0-0. A 0-0 where they hung on for dear life.
Yeah. The best thing they could say after the game was that Pope made some good saves, you know?
Yeah, never good.
And then they faced Sheffield United at home, or sorry, away for them. And I think, you know, it was one of those ones where you think if they lose this now, Eddie Howe might be in trouble.
Yeah, this is where the tide turns a bit.
Yeah, this is how it ends.
Nice. Keep that in the locker for when he inevitably is sacked.
That's what would have happened. That would be the headline, you know, in the Newcastle Times or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was the complete opposite of that. Well, it was a goal fest. 8 goals, 8 different scores.
I saw someone put up first time in Premier League history, and then the first reply to it was it happening literally 2 years before in the Football League. it's like not even that far removed from it.
Pre-war, Will.
Yeah.
That doesn't count, you know. Don't talk about the war. But, you know, whatever. Who cares about that? I mean, no one remembers that game, you know. Everyone remembers this game forever.
Yeah.
They all scored, Will. Almiron, Gordon, Gumieres, Dan Byrne got on the score sheet. Botman got one. First goal ever for Newcastle.
You know, you're not controlling the game well when everyone has scored. It's not one player is like, oh, he was just unstoppable that day. Everyone's getting in on the act.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Dan Byrne getting an early goal is
insane statement.
I was going to say fair. Dan Byrne getting in the act is the ultimate getting in the act player, but then he did score pretty early on, so was actually Wilson and Isaac who got in the act in the end.
But Wilson knew this is the perfect game to get my numbers up.
Oh yeah, for the Spite Cup or whatever.
Yeah.
Still waiting those submissions, folks. Get them in. Polls are still open. Yeah, it comes in bad timing for Hickenbottom. Is it Hickenbottom? Sorry, Heckenbottom. After he accused the refs of not knowing ball. And then the very next week, his team go out and lose 8-0 to a struggling side who can't score.
I wonder who doesn't know ball.
Yeah, whoa. I wonder who has no ball knowledge now, Heckenbottom. That's the refs are saying in their little meeting rooms that they have.
Yeah.
They're all mates, you see, so they all meet up and
confirmed. Literally confirmed.
They are all mates and colleagues. So, this is the worst possible time this could have happened after he had a rant that refs are ruining the game and that they don't know how to play and they don't know what's happening. The last thing he needs is an 8-0 thrashing.
Yes.
One off the record, Will.
One off our famous record. Happened twice in as many seasons. Never to be repeated. I think I said this before. Does it feel like there's more thrashings than ever in the Premier League?
The gap between the rich and the poor is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I think so. It's not even that. I think it's just when the good teams are good, it's just next level. Like you can't compete. They'll blow you out of the water if you're just not at it in the slightest bit. Like there's always a 4-0. It feels like every week now.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know enough about statistics and of the games. Has it always been like this? I feel there's always been a very bad team that's like, out of their depth a bit, or they didn't have the transfer window they thought, or they lost players they didn't think they'd lose, and they show up to the Premier League and like, oh, we are fucked, and they know it beforehand.
Yeah.
I didn't think Sheffield United were that team though.
No, it's funny. I think everyone knew Luton were that team, but it turns out it's also Sheffield and also Burnley, who all have 1 point on the table at the moment each. They are all fighting valiantly to beat Derby's record of the lowest point total at the same time. 3 teams gunning for it at once.
Yeah, a terrible start by all those 3 teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does feel like they're a little bit out of their depth, maybe just in terms of quality. A lot of Irish players in those squads. I will. Some of our best, actually.
Our hopes.
Igbene, Cullen, who plays for Burnley, who plays for Sheffield, Egan.
Mm-hmm.
They hung 8 on Egan, Will.
Not good for his confidence.
He's got another international break up in October. He's got to shake off that 8-0 and it can't be that bad for Ireland.
No, Gibraltar next. I think you can do that.
Yeah, well, they won't hang 8 yet. Egan, don't worry about that.
1 maybe.
But of course, which would be worse, conceding 8 to a Premier League team is one thing, but 1 to Gibraltar, that's actually much worse.
1 to Gibraltar, you're out, mate. The whole team is out.
It's I thought Everton would be down. I thought they looked like they were struck from the drain the last couple of seasons, and this year they're finally going to get found out.
Yeah.
But their striker, Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Remember him?
DCL.
Yeah.
I think he did his ACL.
I think
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He had a bad injury.
Name.
Yeah, easy to remember though. He had an injury and he's kind of back. He had a lot of seasons where he was quite young, and then he had one really good season under Ancelotti, and I think he went to the Euros actually, and he hasn't been within ass's roar of that team in the meantime.
Yeah,
and he's 26 now. It's kind of now or never, you feel, for DCL to come good. I mean, he had a hamstring injury and he had a fractured cheekbone already this season. He missed 3 games. So it's only his 3rd game. He scored 1 goal. But as I say, like, he'd really want to put a couple of seasons together now to, I don't know. I guess he already is a Premier League player. I guess he already has made it. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about, to be honest. I mean...
Well, I'm sure he wants to get back into the England squad, but that's a tough task. They have quite the squad at the moment. And then Tony's going to be back soon as well. And I assume he's going to be, if he's back fit and firing straight away, I'm sure he's back into the England reckoning again. Yeah,
I guess if you want to, be look back in your career and say I was a successful Premier League striker, and it's kind of now or never. If you put 3 or 4 good seasons in the Premier League in terms of goal scoring together, people can't say anything then. So if that's what he cares about, but I don't know. I think for Everton, they need him to come good as well. They signed Beto, who looked good in the first game. He was taken off for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And I mean, sometimes it does take that, where like, if you're the only striker of the club, which he was for a long time.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, well, I mean, I'm not playing well at the moment, but once I am playing well, right back in there, you know. But then someone else come along in your position, you go, oh, hang on, maybe.
Uh-oh.
If I get sold from here, I have not earned anything. I will be going to Sheffield or Luton.
Nice to meet you, Beto. Where do you play?
yeah, that kind of thing. Like, so what's your best position? What do you mean? I'm a striker. Well, yeah, but where do you think you on the wing or maybe or? So yeah, maybe it's shaken up a bit. Maybe it's going to help them survive relegation. I don't know, but yeah, my prediction of everything going down. When I look at the other three teams, I hadn't realized they have 3 points between them.
They need to combine all three squads into one relegation super squad.
That would be Nottingham Forest, Will.
Yeah.
And it works. That would be a good idea.
They're not at Nottingham Forest, pretty safe every year.
So yeah, was there anything else then? I suppose we can't touch on all the games there. I mean, I didn't watch the Liverpool game. It was on during the thing, so I can't really talk much more about it, to be honest.
There was did you see Antonio's quotes before the Liverpool game?
No, I didn't see that. No. So
now it does feel like we end every episode talking about Mikel Antonio and Wilson, but I feel like they deserve it.
Is this more about the Richarlison stuff?
Not really, but it's something he said on his podcast before the game. Yeah, here we go. Mikel Antonio's remarkable Liverpool taunts come back to bite him at Anfield.
Oh.
So he was. This is from the Mirror. It says he was full of talk in the week leading up as West Ham prepared to go to Anfield. But now he might regret being quite so bullish. The 33-year-old didn't hold back in his latest Footballers Football podcast, a show with co-hosts Newcastle striker and Callum Wilson. Mm-hmm. His words certainly riled up Liverpool fans and likely riled up Liverpool players also. Mikel Antonio said, and I quote, "You know what? I think we're going to finish higher than Liverpool this season. I'm putting it out there. I watched the game. Wolves won, Liverpool 3, because it was before our game, and Wolves should have run away with it. They had a few opportunities. We've got them this weekend, and for me, it's a 6-pointer. We've got them."
Wow. Wow. You know what? To be fair, I was going to say this is a bit mean because I'm sure this at the start of the season, which we also said, yeah, they don't have it. The strikers all over the place. This is last week, he said. After they won.
He said we're going to finish above them and I'm going to bang goals past them, I think was the overarching theme of his talk.
Yeah, I remember I saw the highlights of it. He had one good chance. He kind of headed kind of off, but I mean...
that was the thing. He was then obviously everywhere on Twitter, a picture of him panting and his stat line for the game, and it was like 1 shot off target, no passes, no nothing, none, 0-0-0.
See, this is why you say nothing. Keep your head down, you know, don't give them anything.
In this world, you can't be giving anyone anything.
Yeah, everyone's so online. You know, DCL is watching the NDL at home on Twitter.
He's listening to the Football Pod.
Yeah, he's listening.
He's saying, "I hope you're not talking about me."
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
This is a totally shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
See what balls off of yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all the time.
No problem.